This is an introductory tutorial to Visio, Microsoft Visio. And in this tutorial, we are going to use the Office layout. Now, when you get Visio started on your computer, and if you don't find Office layout in here, you can actually type it at the very top here in the search bar, Office layout. When you hit enter to search for it, you're going to find it right here. So I'm just going to double click on this first one here. What this will do is it will load up all the different shapes related to an office layout. So what you will see in a Visio window, the normal ribbon that you would see in Microsoft Office. So up top here you will have File, Home, Insert, Draw, Design, and some other tabs as well. And this is the ribbon, something that you probably have seen and quite familiar with using Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. You can do pretty much the same formatting that you would need for any text. But you'll see some added tools here specifically for Visio, which are things like connecting two different shapes, adding a text, a pointer tool, and even positioning some of the shapes as well. This is the workspace right here, this white space. This is where you would drag and drop your shapes. On the left-hand side, you will find the shapes that you are going to use. And as you click on each one of them, you'll find a subset of all of the shapes that are available categorized under that name. So for cubicles, office accessories, you've got all the related shapes, office equipment, and office furniture, and also walls, doors, and windows. But if there's anything that you cannot find here, or anything else that you are looking for, you can click on more shapes, and you can also search. Up here you can search. So if I want let's say a desk, and just hit enter, and it will show me all the different desks that are available for me. Okay, and if you want to go back to my list of categories related to office layout, I can just click on X here. I will come back right here. You do have a ruler at the top and on the left-hand side. Another thing that I want to show you is that you can add a grid in here. This grid, as you can see, will have smaller squares. This might be useful as you're lining up few shapes side by side. You can see if they're actually right on the same, let's say lined up on the same line. And there's another way to arrange shapes as well, and I'll show you later on. Now I want to show you on the page here, you can see that there's page 1. This is the default name of this page, something similar to the tabs or the worksheets in Excel. You can have multiple worksheets. Same thing here, you can have multiple pages. So I can add another page. But if I want to go back to my previous page, page 1, right click on this and go to page setup. In here you will find that the measurements units is in millimeters. Based on what you're really working on, I'm gonna put it to centimeters, but there you can use meters, kilometers, and if you want you can go all the way back up here. You can use inches and feet and inches. So we're just going to use centimeters for ours as well. You can change the name of the page as well. I'm going to click OK, and let's say we want to create a room for our computer lab. I'm going to use the L room. So there are a couple of things how I can resize this. One way is to just drag it. And if I want to reshape the L in here, you can see that I've got these yellow dots. I can shape it that way. I can also add specific dimensions. And if you're looking at the bottom of the screen here, given that I have selected the L room already, you'll see width, height, angle, etc. So if I click on any of those, this box will show up. And in here, I can change the width and the height. Now you're saying, what do you mean by the height? Actually, it is a two-dimensional picture that we're looking at. We're looking at the room from the top and any object. So in this case, the height is basically the y-axis and the width is the x-axis. And if I were to rotate this, obviously you're gonna change the width and the height. They're gonna change the x-axis and y-axis. And so let's say I want to change the, for now, let's say I want to change the width. Right now it's 5.3 meters. Let's say I want to make it, I don't know, 6.5 meters. I can type this in like that. There we go, 6.5 now. And I want to change the height, which is this y-axis here. I'm going to make it 4.5 meters. Okay, now this is my L room. I want to change this. I want to rotate it actually. And now this is quite too long to fit on my page. So I'm going to flip these. Now the width is the y-axis because I rotated. So I'm going to change that to 4.5 meters and this one to 6.5. Okay. The x and the y, this is the x location, this is the x, this is for the position. So as an example, I do have it selected. If I click on my arrow to move it to the left, you can see that the x-axis is changing, and up and down the y-axis will change. All right, now I'm gonna make this look like our room, a lab room. So I'm going to make our little area where there's a door in here. I'm just gonna close this for now. There is a door right here that takes us to another room, and we have the main entrance as well in here. So I can add doors now. I'm going to add a door right here. Just drag it and position it where you think is correct. The reason I'm leaving a little bit of space to the left is because we do have another desk in there. And then I am going to put it right here. But you can rotate this. You can easily change that like that. So now I do have my doors. I do have a couple of windows at the very back. So I'm just going to put here, and I believe there's another window here. Unless you have the exact dimensions, right now I'm just going to show you how we can add these things. I don't have the exact dimensions of that room. So now we have our room. We can, obviously for each one of these, I can click on each of those doors and change the width, the height, and all the dimensions that I want. Now I want to add some furniture. So I'm going to go to my office furniture category, and I will add, let's say, private desk office right here. This is pretty big, so I'm going to make this a little bit smaller here. Right now, it's saying that the width is 1.187 meters. So let's say I'm just going to use centimeters for this one. Again, either way, it will understand it. So let's say this is going to be 100 centimeters. So for the height, or for my width now, given I rotated the object, I will use, let's say, 130 centimeters. Now I can position this one here. I am going to add a desk chair. I'm going to rotate this, and I'm going to move it closer to the table. Now you notice that the chair is showing as if it's on top of the table. The way I can change this is click my object, go to home, and you can see here you can send it to back, or you can bring it to the front. I do want to send it backwards or send it to back. That way it's going to take it behind the table, and I can maybe move it in a little bit more. I also want to add a desktop. So I'm going to go to my office equipment, and I can add telephones, printers, whatever I need. In our lab, computer lab, we don't have any of these. We just have desktops, and I don't find there's a notebook, there's a terminal, keyboard, printer. I don't see there's a PC but I don't see the full thing. So I'm just gonna type in desktop. And here we go. There's under computers and monitors, which is something that's not part of the office layout, I guess, but you can always find it in other categories. So I'm just going to place it on top here, and I can resize this. Here we go. So now we have this. And if you want to change any of the colors of, you just click the object and go to all the styles, effects that you want. So I'm just going to fill this with, you can do it black, or let's say a different color, red. Now that I have my basic setup for a desk and for the computer and the chair, what I can do is I want to copy and paste all around the computer lab. So instead of copying each one of them, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to click on first object and hold Control key, and I'm going to click the other two objects now. Now I've selected all three, and I'm going to group them. What this allows me to do is, let's say I want to change the position of this, I can just go like that, and it's one object. I can move this whole object together rather than having to move and select all three of them every single time. The other thing cool about this is that I can Control C or right click copy and then Control V to paste, and then paste. I can rotate this. I have one here, paste, or click the whole object, copy, paste. This one is already rotated for me. And I'm gonna paste. I'm going to rotate this way. This is the instructor's or lab attendant's desk. We do also have a bunch of tables and desks right here in the middle, so I'm just going to leave that out for now, but you get the point of this one here. Another thing that I want to show you is that you can label any of these objects. So if you double click any object, you can type in the text. For example, for this door, I can double click here, and you can see that there's a little cursor. I can maybe just zoom in to show you. And I can type in main entrance. Just click anywhere outside. You can also insert text boxes. So I can click in here to insert a text box. And I can type in computer lab room 2325, and I can make this. And the other thing that I would like to show you is that in here you can change the pointer. So right now it's still showing highlighting the A text, because I can continue to add more text boxes. But if that's not what I wanted, I just hit escape there. I can click on pointer tool, and I can start to go back to selecting, and I can just maybe increase this. Okay, computer lab, and have it right there, and I can do all type of different formatting. This connector tool here allows us to connect objects. In this case, we can connect the computers together as if they are connected through a wired connection for the networking. So I can click, drag right in the middle of it, and go to the other, and you can see that now it's highlighted in green, or it has a green box, and then I can let go of the mouse, and now I do have a line in between. That shows that they are connected with each other. And I can do that same thing with all the computers, as if that they are all connected together. Now notice that this one here, so I'm just going to go to my pointer tool, this one here connected to the side. It actually connected to the side of the desktop, and because each object has multiple points for connector, but if I want to drag it, I can just put my mouse on top of at the end of it and drag it to the middle here. Now you can see that there is a green box, and let go, and now you can see that they're all connected all in one line. A couple of other things that I would like to show you here. I'm just going to zoom out a little. The other thing that I want to show you is that you can insert pretty much anything as well, just like any other Microsoft tool. You can insert charts, pictures, and so it is very flexible, and it allows you to create different charts and have external tools or external objects as well.